my oh my god, I shouldn't have tried it. I shouldn't have gone so hardcore. Oh, I'm back from overseas, baby, and I'm a little bit sick, to be honest with you. I contracted a mild illness, both kinds, both because of germs and because of just like a general physical punishment, you know, being brought radically out of my natural environs to a situation that I am not physically adapted to, like the noble blobfish. I have more empathy than ever for that creature. I was that creature, boys. I was that creature. Kenny, wah! How are you? Hey, well, we were practically neighbors. Sadly, I did not get over Brazil way, but it was I was nearby. Here. Let me try to get the chat to work. I don't know. Vertical chat is not behaving itself, so I don't know why it appear in this manner. But in any case, yeah. Hello, everybody. I think the furthest I got east was La Paz, Bolivia, which nearly destroyed me, as you'll no doubt be amused to hear. Bro, is everything in is Brazil lower altitude? Please tell me it is, because now I've developed a taste for the lower America, the low hanging America, bro. Gotta get that shit. I want to go around the bottom. I want to go Argentina, Chile, Brazil next time. Well, it's only a mile this year. You were out of town, not out of country though, bro. You also got sick. Perfect, man. Same. All Brazil high on altitude, bro. Why is South America so high, man? What's it trying to prove? What's it trying to say? It's got to be so high up in the air. Why don't you come on down? Come on down to sea level and hang out with the rest of us. You know, the Netherlands doesn't have to put on such airs. Hey, well, hold on a minute. I can work that better. It's like putting on airs. Putting on Buenos Aires. Jeez, I don't know why the chat is being so weird. It's this hideous little, it's this like emblackened thing. It used to be transparent. It used to look nice. You remember? I swear I used to know how to do this. I took 12 days off and I instantly forgot my entire career. Oh no, I have become the guy who sucks. Oh, that reminds me, I actually bought a roast beef t-shirt. It was just my laundry doing shirt while I was abroad, right? I only bring a small backpack with enough clothes for like, 5 days or so, and then every so often I make sure to do some laundry. And my standby shirt, on the front it says, "I'm the guy who sucks," and on the back it says, "Plus I got depression." And let me tell you, a group of ladies commented on I forgot completely that I was wearing that shirt, and I headed out down the street for something, probably to get my laundry, and then there was like "You're the guy who sucks," and then I turned around like, "Plus I got depression," and there was much laughing and approval. I actually forgot that I was wearing that same shirt when I forgot that I was wearing that same shirt when I went through security at the airport, and the security guard said, "Watch out, this guy sucks." I'm like, "Wait, how does he know?" And then I realized, oh yeah. And then when I went through the scanner and stuff, and then the lady on the other side saw the back, and I heard her reading part of the shirt. "Plus I got depression." And then another man said, "Yeah, that's relatable." It was so, but I highly recommend it. Why doesn't Chris Onstad officially license that shirt? It's such an evergreen sentiment, and everyone agrees. Everyone revels in it. Still better than India. Lately it's hot AF there. Hi Kame. I bet it is. It's near that equator. The equator ain't fucking around. Bro, God, I got sunburned good on the first day. Well, I mean, I eventually I had some SPF 50 ass, strong ass, like no fucking around sunscreen, but I must have missed a spot because I got one of those hideous purple sunburns. You know what I mean? Like skipping the red, skipping the flaky skin, just straight to looking like you got hit with a beanbag from such as a riot police. The sun itself is a giant riot policeman keeping me in line, teaching me to try to touch grass. I don't like it. It was rough going. 40 degrees Celsius. Ah! That's yeah, just because you know, I might be from North America, but I have a loose grasp of the Celsius. I know that is a toasty one. Hey, you know what? I'm a PC builder. I know Celsius. I know that'd be a great temperature for your GPU, but not so much for your living flesh. For your living flesh vessel. That would be you know, it's a rough scene. Godspeed with your unbelievable heat. Oh, I see. That's the I done it again. That's why I put it in the I gave it. That's it. I put it in the Twitch chat. I figured it out. I reverse engineered it. Don't worry, everybody. I know how it works. Here, where should Chato go? Where should Chato go? Where is it? Where's my precious? What layer are you on? I am compelled, as always, to apologize thoroughly for my hideous incompetence. Here we go. I'll move it up into the corner where everyone can see. I'll put it right up here on the fridge where everyone can see. 104 Fahrenheit. That's a favor. Oh, I got the idea. I got the idea. Don't worry. I'm not cowed. Oh, that's not an India pun. I'm not cowed by these scientifically accurate numerics. Does anyone? Oh, let me run this by you. Does anyone perceive my voice to be higher than usual? Because I got on a Discord call towards the end of my trip, and people were saying like, "What happened? Who are you? You sound like a girl. You sound like a beautiful lady." And I wondered if maybe it was an effect of the altitude. Does being up in the air make your voice change? I don't know. I wasn't doing anything different, but I was told on multiple occasions that I sounded higher pitched than usual. Maybe I'm back to normal now. Safe and sound, back at sea level. But you know, when I get the thing is too, I got the altitude sickness going up, and I also got the reverse altitude sickness coming back. I was thinking of trying to stream earlier in the week, but it was not to be, because let me explain. It's oh, it does work a little higher. It makes sense. Okay, well, good trick. You wanna make it as a VTuber, you better get yourself up on that. You get high altitude. That's a good life hack. I mean, it's, you know, mildly expensive to constantly remove yourself to faraway lands to facilitate your timbre, but you know, you do what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do in this crazy workaday world. The new YouTuber meta, altitude streaming. So yes, not like jet lag. It's more like when you get up high quickly, your body can't adjust to the lack of oxygen and the different pressure, and you just feel weird for a long time. So it's like mountain climbers have to spend a long time slowly ascending. My ass didn't think of that. I just hopped on an airplane at Lima, which is down near the beach, and then I hopped right on up. I flew off to Cusco, which is like 4,000 meters above sea level, some 12,000 feet, I believe, and boy, oh boy, I got a little beat down by it, bro. It was a rough one. It was a little rough. I was basically, you know that feeling when you breathe too much and you get kind of dizzy? It was like that. It was like that on and off for like 4 days, and I could feel my pulse. It was eerie. It was like clasping on my head, and I had a headache constantly for like 3 days. Got kind of nauseous. We took a bus somewhere. I stopped and got some delicious tomato soup, and then I vomited that shit right back up. But it made me feel better. Ooh, thanks to you and a few others, I did get inspired to start my streaming journey. I want to be a VTuber, but start as a PingTuber. Well, yeah, that's a sound way to begin. Yeah, PingTuber, nothing wrong with that. If I did it over again, I'd start pinging. Ping. Hold on.
That's the joke.
No, this one.
Pingers.
There you go. Hey, the meme. I'm more or less recovered now. I'm feeling better. I just got kind of a sore throat. I got a little bit of a conventional infectious agent now. But, you know, the plus side of it. The plus side of it is if you can experience culture shock, then what I was experiencing must technically be Bioshock. So I think that's pretty rad. That's the highlight of the trip. Is I don't need to play that series anymore, baby. I lived it. Well, I kind of lived Bioshock Infinite. That's the one in the sky, right? Infectious? No, I think it's just a run-of-the-mill cold or something. I just have a bit of a sore throat and my nose is threatening me at all times. There's a menace. There's a shadow and a threat in my mind, or I should say inside of my sinuses. Whoa, that's weird. There's both a regular stream and a short stream in my subscriptions. Yeah, bro. Hey, Nightbreaker. I'm dabbling. I'm dabbling with high technology. I'm trying to stream the conventional widescreen and simul-stream with the vertical. So far, I guess it's working. I was convinced I was going to boomer it up pretty good, but I decided to reach for the sun. I went to the Isla de la Sol after going to the land of the sun. That is Peru. I decided, having come within proximity, having exhibited my hubris before the weeping eyes of a heartbroken god, that I need to step it up a notch. Bam! Step it up a notch. Oh, Saddest Dude. You were in the other Chad 2 minutes ago. Whoa, man. Saddest Dude is now Chaddest Dude. Damn, the transformation is complete. A lot of magic. Bro, the coffee was actually fantastic. There's a lot. You know what else? Chocolate, man. Peru was the land of... Okay. You know what, though? I specifically went out of my way to document a lot of the food I had, and I'm actually trying to get a time to do a foodie conversation stream with Tori Taiga. We'll just have a whole dedicated Peruvian cuisine discussion with Tori. I kind of kept her posted as I went, and there was some controversy. I'll say, some of that stuff was surprisingly good. It didn't sound that appealing to me from 100 paces without a scope, but when I got up in that shit, I was like, oh damn. Wait. There's intentional. Autocorrect. Wait, I missed the message probably. What did you? That's weird. There's both the regular stream. I don't see. Did you say intentional instead of high? Also intentional. That makes sense to me. You play Tekken 8. There's an MMA fighter from Peru. Wait, what? There's an MMA fighter from Peru introduced as a new character who keeps advertising her coffee brand. Oh, in Tekken 8, there's a Peruvian, a genuine Lima. Wow. Okay, I learned a lot about Peru on my trip to Peru, as you might hope. I didn't know much about Peru other than Incans, but that's actually, I was like, so like Peru, there's basically 3 big regions. There's a coastal region, and then the center is all mountains, and then way out in the east, it's Amazon, where it borders Brazil, out in the spooky forest. And what I learned, well, yes, there's a lot of coffee. There was a very nice little coffee shop in Cusco, actually, where I did eventually seek succor and rest, and took my goofy little laptop and worked on some scripts when I had some downtime. And I'm already back in the saddle, baby. I'm working on a new video where I'm going to talk about an esoteric subject that no one's ever heard of, and it'll get 14 views, but whatever, it's going to be fun. And by God, I am determined to finish recording retakes for this cover video, which was the last thing I was working on before I left. And I just don't want to be, I don't want to be behind the 8 ball in perpetuity. You know what I mean? You don't see my boomerang chat. Oh, you know what? You know what I think is going? I think there's 2 chats. I think there's a vertical and a horizontal. I think they're different chats, maybe, or something. I am boomering it up. Oh, look, I think there are 2 chats. In fact, did you know Denmark has like twice the coastline of Peru, despite Peru being basically pure coastline? I know, it's weird. Those northern European countries are very wiggly. It's the what's it called? It's the coastline paradox, where the wigglier it is, the more like you get more miles. It's like surface area, right? It's like a heat sink. It's like how heat sinks on a CPU work. The more corrugated it gets, the more like square miles of space there is. So it's like, I think what is it, Norway has the most coastline of any country in the entire world, because it's like, I hope they'll forgive the comparison, but it's shaped like intestines, kind of, you know what I mean, like it's very craggy, and there's lots of little inlets and fjords. All them fjords, brah. Yeah, I would have guessed like Canada or somebody would have had the most, but it's little old Norway. Very high surf. Oh, that's why they're so cold. That's why they stay so cool, because they got very efficient cooling. Ah, they got a lot of yeah. It's like an Octua cooler. Oh, they should have called it a Norway cooler, but maybe they would have run into problems with copyright. Can you copyright a country? Can you copyright a whole thing? YouTube's been buggy lately. Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, so I heard. I've heard there's been a lot going on. I think I chose a really good time. I didn't really choose the time. The time chose me. But I chose a good time to be overseas and out of touch and not aware of what is happening in the air. I was unaware because I was in the air. The Nordic countries, Europe's heat sink, just like how the Amazon is the world's air filter, right? Something like that. Makes all the oxygen. Makes the oxygen. Oh yeah, but okay, you know what's also funny about Peru, speaking of the coffee? So there is a lot of coffee stuff, and even the hostels and stuff made really good coffee. You know what I thought was funny is there were a lot of Dunkin' Donuts there. It's like, if you're not aware, Dunkin' Donuts is like a really quotidian chain in the United States. The Canadian equivalent would be maybe Tim Hortons. It's like a really basic kind of fast food place. Well, I mean, as you'd imagine, they sell donuts, but they're actually more famous for their coffee. They make coffee and donuts, and it's like kind of a regional. It's more of an East Coast thing in America, though. You don't even see them very often in places like California, right? Like the further away from the east you get, it's less common. So I'm not even like, I don't know, it's funny to see it being so common overseas, particularly in South America, which is where most of the coffee comes from. You'd think they would have like local brands. I mean, they did, but there was also always a Dunkin' Donuts somewhere or other, especially in Lima and in Bogota. I didn't actually visit Bogota on this trip. I just got stuck at the airport for a long time because my flight itinerary was cursed. Actually, it was kind of blurred. Baskin-Robbins. I don't remember seeing a Baskin-Robbins in Peru. They did have ice cream, though. There are many Hidalgo locations, mostly little stands. The desserts, man. I regret not having, well, not really regret, but if there's one thing I wish I had, it was a little bit more time to peruse the dessert stands. Like, they have these little kind of pojang machas, they call them in Korea, like little, just like, you know, a lady with a stand in the park, and they made desserts like the arroz con leche and what was the other one? The purple stuff. I never got to try the purple stuff. I gotta go back, I guess. I'll have to conspire a longer, more deliberately paced trip to South America in the future, where I will have more time. Well, you know what? I tried plenty of food. The problem was I just couldn't fit that much food every day, right? I'm only one man. I can only consume so much. I may be let me look it up real quick. It had a name. What was the name of the purple stuff? I have it written here. Let me just verify what the Mazamora Morada. Mazamora Morada is what they called some purple stuff. I don't know. It was dulce de leche. I had various ice cream like things, and I had one specific dessert. I wrote it down too. I forget. It had a name. Maybe I did. I'm not sure. I have a checklist. I have a doc. Don't worry. I have a doc of all the stuff I tried. But I didn't get to too many desserts this time around, mostly because I couldn't find places. And I spent so much of the trip sick. Once I got to altitude, my food adventure took a major nosedive. I think there was a stretch of like 2 or 3 days where I hardly consumed anything. And then like the first meal I had was just some tomato bisque and I couldn't keep it down. I couldn't rise to that challenge. It was a rough scene. Plus side, once I threw up, I felt way better. I was ready to complete my trip. Okay, so here's the problem. I didn't really research. The whole trip was very impromptu. Peru was just sort of on my bucket list, right? And now that I'm between jobs and I had some money in the bank, I was just looking at ticket prices out of just like random, you know, just to look. And the tickets down were like $200 stupid. So I'm like, what? And those prices were starting to go up by the day. So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm going to Peru. Okay, fine. I got it. Perfect timing. Fate has guided me to this point. And so I went. I didn't have a lot of time to plan or schedule. I just had a couple things I wanted to do, the Machu Picchu and the Lake Titicaca, and just to get some food when I could. But the rest of the time, like, I was basically, I was like, I kind of compressed the 12 days I had into rapid fire transit from one place to the other, which normally is fine, but I did not realize how much challenge there would be in acclimating to various altitudes. So first, from Lima to Cusco, that's jumping up 4,000, and then from Cusco to Machu Picchu. Machu was actually lower altitude to my surprise. So I got, like, I was wicked sick the first night in Cusco, but then when we took the bus over to Machu, I felt like 8,000 times. Once we went down a few hundred meters, I felt infinitely better. I got de-blobfished. Then, sadly, when I went back up to Cusco, the very next stop was La Paz, which is even higher up. So I got sick all over again, and it got worse. And then I got on the bus from La Paz and went off to Puno, which, you guessed it, is even higher up in the air. I'm like, how much higher? How much higher can this get? That's the sickest I got. So I learned a lesson. If you're gonna go to a mountainous region of the world and you're not already a mountain man, which I am assuredly not, you better give yourself a couple extra days between places just to acclimate. Or like maybe there's some kind of medicine you can take. I understand you can take some kind of pills before you get there that helps you acclimate faster. Oh my goodness. Yeah, maybe I have sensitive ears. It wasn't like, I mean, it's hard to describe the symptoms because the first night I was just really winded. I kind of overestimated, right? Because a long time ago I did go to Colombia and that was high altitude, or so I thought. But that's like the lower end. That's like the termination of that mountain range. So it's not as high. So when I was walking around Bogota, I got a little winded here and there, but I got over it pretty quick. I thought, okay, so that's altitude sickness. I just get kind of winded real fast. No. That was like level 1. Colombia is level 1. That's like the baby beginner tutorial stage. And then Peru and Bolivia, that's like, yeah, that's the meat of the game. That's disc 1 and disc 2. And I kind of jumped straight to the Elite 4 before I even had 3 gym badges. If you know what I mean, if you see what I'm saying with this metaphor. One of your classmates was Peruvian and his parents would make these amazing dulce de leche cakes. I thanked them and told them it was great. After they shared the cakes, they gave you extra. Oh, and the hearts replicating the color of the Peruvian banner. I see that. That detail did not escape my notice. Ow! Oh, that's a fun memory. I like that. I like that you had so many of your classmates sound like kind of jerks. I'm glad there was one cool one. Peruvians were so nice. The Peruvians were nice. I had the same walking tour guide a couple days, like not successively, but she was an otaku. Oh, by the way, I hope I can find the picture in here. Actually, shit, son. We should just look at these pictures. I kind of forgot. Here. There we go. Now, why don't we just examine some of my, if you wondered what this graphic was on the side or the top, it's my trip photographs. Here's proof that I journeyed far to the south on an airplane. That took only 10 hours. I'm surprised they actually fed us on the plane. I was relieved. Oh, and here's the super cool guest house I stayed at. Look at that. It had like a little hammock chair, plants, and a couch. It was the perfect place to sit around, being an indolent pile of crap while I languished. The perfect place to languish. upstairs there was sort of like a bar restaurant thing. And oh, you know what? You know what's strange is normally when I'm overseas, you are going to run into mostly Australians and Germans for some reason, and I hardly ran into any. I certainly ran into nobody from America, and I think I ran into exactly one Canadian the whole time. Almost all of the people were from Europe, though. Everybody. Principally the United Kingdom and France. I got some practice. Parler le français. Oh my God. And of course a lot of Spanish. But it was like everybody was on holiday from England and France for some reason. I guess South America is about the same distance maybe, and it's probably way cheaper than anywhere in North America, so it stands to reason. But yeah, it's a different ecosystem, or maybe the times have simply changed. Usually if you're backpacking around long enough, you're gonna run into a lot of, you know, the Australians and the Germans in particular on their mandatory 5-month paid vacation per year. YouTube stuttering, had to delay the stream. Slow responses, no problem. We know how YouTube does that sort of thing. We all know about YouTube. Don't worry, I have streams scheduled tomorrow and the day after, and they're both on Twitch. They should be a little easier to manage. Let's see. Oh yeah, here's a nice little restaurant pub place that was upstairs from the guest house. That's what I like about staying overseas, is you always have these guest houses that are just like, it's like an inn. It's kind of like an inn in like a fantasy story. It's the closest thing there is to the prancing pony in Brie, you know? I have way more pictures than I'm showing. I'm just trying to minimize ones that show people. I don't want to dox no one. I'll just have random background strangers. I just don't want to show people's faces on the internet. It seems a little untoward. So most of them are just scenery. But here's Lima. See? The sea. You can see the sea. So far, so good. So far, so sea level. In Lima, the main danger was simply being exposed to the sun at all times, which I'm also not accustomed to. This mad quest of mine to touch the grass, and eat the bugs. Oh my God! Unrelated, but I just realized, is that why Mr. Frog eats the bug? Is that a reference to that on Smiling Friends? By the way, I saw Smiling Friends season 2 start. It was magnificent. Smash Bros. Ah, what a scenic village. This is Lima. When we went down to Lima was the starting point. Honestly, I didn't expect to want to stay there very long. I just kind of figured it's a big capital city and there wouldn't be much, but I was wrong. Lima was nice. The only downside, and like the main thing they warn you about, is cab drivers are, I mean, like, there's a lot of scam cab drivers and they're really aggressive. Fortunately, Uber works, but, and I even said, you know what, I haven't traveled in a while. This was actually the first time I've left the country since the pandemic. Isn't that crazy to think about? That's been years. I haven't been abroad in years. I mean, I guess I went to Puerto Rico last year, but technically that's not leaving the country. But when I got to the airport, I even had a taxi arranged through my hotel, right? With like your name on there and everything. I'm looking for a guy holding a sign saying "Silly Boy," and I can't find him. And then like there's like these guys, and they're all wearing uniforms, and they're very like official looking. I thought they worked at the airport, but they didn't. And they're like, "Oh, where are you trying to go?" "Oh, I'm trying to meet my cab. Where's it?" Like, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this way." And I think he's gonna take me to like the platform where you like meet cabs or something, because we're just inside the airport, not even outside yet. And this guy takes me, and he's like trying to get me to walk to some specific location. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, what company or whatever?" It's like, "Oh yeah, here's like the information." I show him like the printout or whatever. I have like, here's my stuff they sent me. He's like, "Oh yeah, they called and said they had car problems. You have to go with this guy instead." I'm like, that doesn't sound true. So I'm like, all right, just 1 minute. Let me check something. And like when I turn around to go back, like I'm going back just like to get signal base, right? I'm going back in to get some signal, and the guy gets mad. He's like, sir, what? I'm like, oh my God, oh God, I made the right decision not to follow you. He's like, wait a minute, you can't get mad at me because I didn't fall for your scam. That's not how it works. You gotta be, what? I don't feel that's fair. In any case, within moments, I unraveled that perfunctory deception, and my cab guy was waiting for me as intended in a different place. But I'm like, damn, it's a good thing I arranged this stuff. That'd be easy to fall for. I mean, like, because he wasn't the only guy. There was a whole bunch of them. They were wearing like these green and white uniforms. Bro, they're wearing, you know, they're organized scammers. He wasn't just dressed like me. He wasn't dressed like a homeless man. He wasn't dressed shitty. He looked all official and stuff. Bro, that was crazy. I shouldn't have barked. I hurt my weakened throat. Ah. Well, in any case. Ah, there's more of the beach. Everything's very cliffy. That is one thing. I never actually got down to the beach. I couldn't navigate a reliable way down there, and it was pretty dang hot. I did bring my bathing suit, but I just ended up not having time to partake in the Pacific. I had food to try and streets to navigate. It's kind of funny. It's like most of this, it's sort of like East Coast America. It's sort of like that colonial. Oh wait, hold on. Let me show you something funny. Okay, this is the Parc del Amor. I forgot when I logged in, when I turned on my OBS, I forgot I had this subtitle added to it. It was just funny, but it's appropriate. That's what the statue is. It's like the Lovers Park. There wasn't much going on. It's just, you know, it's just a scenic bluff on the beach, and they have a statue of the act. You know, it's not lewd though. It's a different attitude. It's a different attitude towards this sort of thing, you know? It is nice. It's a nice little park. Yeah, it's a bit of a tangle. It looks a little Silent Hill-esque, from ground level. You can't really tell what it is. It's two supine human forms. Well, one supine, one prone, if you catch my drift. Wow, the music changed very appropriately. That's hilarious. Anyway, I don't know. Speaking of which, oh yeah, the music more appropriate by the moment. I don't know why I thought this was noteworthy, but the little walking paths were made of stumps. They just like planted trees and cut them and hewn them down to make little stable walkways, which I've never seen before, and I thought was ingenious. It's like Lord of the Rings or something. It's more elvish, right? It's like, why set stones when you can just plant entire life forms and use them? No, that wasn't the park with the cats. We're getting there. Don't worry. Oddly enough, the park with the cats was called John F. Kennedy Park. And I actually asked our tour guide, like, why is it John F. Kennedy was like he was the U.S. president, right? Like, apparently he was just like really good friends with the president of Peru at the time. And when he got straight up iced, they named a park after him. So I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of a nice gesture. Let's see what we got. I forget where this is. This is yet another little park near the fucking park, but not of it. Oh, you know what? Here, look, can you make it out in the lower left corner? That the trash can's looking a little sus. I honestly think that's why I took this picture. It's scenic. I mean, it's a beautiful park. There's a flag, and you can see kind of a map of Central America and all that, but kind of a little Where's Waldo element going on down here in the corner. Oh my goodness. You can make it out. Geez, we better move on before we start getting memed on. Oh, one thing. Speaking of the kiddie park, one thing I noticed about Peru, they love critters. It's a critter central place, and there's vets and pet shops on like every street corner. I just grabbed a picture of one of them. Viva una experiencia. Wow, I like that. Wow, vet. Wow. And this is the cutest one I saw, but there was lots. Right from the minute I got there, right from my cab ride, I saw multiple pet shops, and that's like kind of my first impression of the nation state of Peru. Yes, Peru is good. Mi veterinaria. Wow. There's stuff like that everywhere. Pet shops. Okay. I remember this. This is normally not significant, but on the map I saw what looked like a huge park. So I made towards it, right? I figured I'd cut through the park to get to a different part of the city. I got there, and there's just a giant hedgerow. I can't get past it. It's a barrier. It's impassable. I'm like, well, what's this? So I was obliged to go around, and the whole time, I'm wondering what in the hell this wall is. And then it's upside down for some reason, but this golf ball sailed directly past my head and crashed into a tree. I almost got clobbered, and that solved the mystery. It wasn't a park at all. It was a gigantic-ass golf course in the middle of the city. And they need better barriers. They need better nets on that shit, because I almost got one to the noggin. And I was already bound for some head-based trouble in the week to come. There's one South American country that keeps pink tarantulas as pets. Pink tarantulas? I don't know. It wasn't Peru. Maybe it is. I'm sure if there's a pet, they're popular. Golf courses and high altitude. As long as I don't have to encounter both of them at the same time. Bro, I actually stopped in my track. It went right over my head, and I heard it clink, 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 and I saw that. I'm like, oh, that's why I can't walk through. And then I went and took a picture as evidence. Okay, get ready, everybody. Kitty time! This was the park. There was actually a couple in succession, and they have a really nice kind of walkway system in the city too. Like the roads are on either side of a big sort of park with like bike paths and footpaths in the middle, and all along there are many such shelters for the Michis. eBay! It is a Michi, and in fact, it's funny because when I was walking around, I would hear people actually say, "Oh, Michi," and I heard it organically. So basically, it's proof. It's proof that Michi is the real term for kitty in Espanol. Not that I doubted you. Not that I doubted this vocabulary or anything. I'm just saying, bruh. I was just like, shit. Wow. The beach from high altitude. Look at that sheer drop. I was a little nervous about taking pictures. You see the specks out in the water? Are people enjoying the surf? And if I may say, they look like they're really fucking far away from the coast. I don't know if maybe they're surfers or something. It is technically the Pacific Ocean. I don't know why I say technically. It's just fully the Pacific Ocean. So maybe they got better surfing out there. Maybe it's like Rocket Power. They should have had a Rocket Power special where they go to Peru. How's the water? Didn't go in, bro. I didn't go in. See how far away I am? It's so high up, and I had so much hiking around to do. I was thinking of going down to the water, but I never ended up doing it because I had to walk up and down an entire mountain. Specifically, it's the ocean. Oh. Not to be too general. It's a pretty generalized region of the world, the Pacific. Let's see. Here's a nice one. There's sunset. Just straight out west. Straight out to the undying lands. I don't know. Well, we're actually, I kept forgetting that we're also technically, and again by technically I mean just fully, south of the equator. It's harder to notice. I've been south of the equator once before. I went to Ostrolo. I went to Austria, but this is different. This is different. You couldn't really tell it was a big change of season. It just felt very summery. And technically, this is autumn now. These pictures, but you wouldn't guess. You wouldn't guess. Oh, here's something. Speaking of otaku, here's the picture. If you can make it out. Way in the background, you can see it's like a huge. The bus went past this gigantic building. It was like a kilometer or two long, and the whole length was covered in a giant Dragon Ball Z mural. You know, like the it was because he died, right? What's his name? I'm not a big Dragon Ball creator. Was Toriyama. Yes, it was he was in the midst of it. I didn't realize that's what it was until we got to a part, but I didn't catch it in the picture. But there's a huge mural of Toriyama with it, like the dates, and there's just 1,000 characters all up and down this huge ass building. And lest you did not know this, Dragon Ball Z is borderline a religion throughout Latin America. Apparently, it's very, very popular. I did not know that. Well, I kind of did, because a long time ago when I stayed in when I stayed in Bogota, there's like a 3-story ramen shop that was just covered in Dragon Ball Z stuff. I just thought it was a gimmick. Yeah. Well, yeah, I know that now. In fact, well, I'll save that for. I'll save that later. But the specter of Dragon Ball Z loomed large over my entire trip, actually. My tour guide said that on the day that he died, there was a period of mourning where even the cartels suspended activity. Now that is pop culture immersion. I was hoping to find some kind of an anime souvenir someplace, but alas, all I could find was alpaca stuff. Speaking of Dragon Ball Z, here's a huge church. I think this is right at the Capitol Plaza. Here's inside. It looks, I mean, this is something that I thought multiple times throughout my trip there, but a lot of places look like anime, don't they? Or like video game backgrounds. Yeah, it actually is. Like, even the cities, especially the altitude cities, La Paz reminded me of Blaze Blue, and that just goes to show my cultural reference, right? Because it's like a city down in a bowl. It's a tree bowl, and then all the edges of the bowl are covered in buildings, and there's like gondolas and wires going everywhere, and it's like, wow, man, like it looks like fiction to me. It looks very high. It's fanciful. Here's the Capitol. We couldn't go into that main palace area for some reason. Some Instagram girl wandered out there, and the guards were like, "Hey, no Instagramming." Oh, it's very beautiful, but according to our very informative tour guide, this is where they burned people alive back during the Inquisitions and stuff. And part of the reason they prettied it up so much and built a nice fountain was like, okay, nothing to see here. Nothing bad happened here. Nothing bad. Just it's all pretty. It's all palm trees. Got me? All palm trees. I didn't think to ask. I wonder if the palm trees are actually from here or if they're all imported. For some reason, I was disillusioned when I learned that about California. The palm trees aren't actually from America at all. They all got imported from like Hawaii and stuff. I wonder if that stands here too. I remember seeing a couple of Dragon Ball Super being played in Mexico. They rented out an entire open air theater to play the final episode. It was like watching a sports game. Yeah, I can imagine. I can definitely imagine. In fact, the only thing I saw on TV the whole time I was down there, well, there was some kids show with some like straight up crazy makeup, but there was also Dragon Ball Z, episode after episode of it. It was on for like hours. They just marathon that shit. Oh, speaking of which, not speaking of that, but speaking of I tried to find the Dragon Ball Z merch. This is what every single gift shop looks like in Peru. So you're trying to find something other than alpacas. I mean, it's great if you're branded for Cozy Chew. It's very easy. Actually, now that I notice it, I didn't notice these like demon dog things until I was looking at the picture. Maybe I should have got one of those. They're pretty cool. But yeah. Another Michi! And can you see the secret Michi in this picture? They must really like lima beans. Lima beans. I get it, because the picture of the I see because the words, the giant words. They build giant Hollywood signs, like monuments of every town name. But they did that in Costa Rica too. I guess it must be a common thing. So here's Michi 1. And lest you overlook it, there's another secret Michi in the bushes right there. Hooray, man. Llama bean. Imperial salutations from Brazil. Hello Brazil. I love you. I'm sorry I didn't visit you, but I almost died. I didn't have the people game. Wow. I'll definitely next trip I'll definitely budget more time. I'll plan a more deliberate jaunt. I'll probably end up in Lima again, because that's where most of the direct flights from the US are for some reason. And then I'll go down Santiago, hop over Buenos Aires, and then come back up to Brazil. And then I don't know how to get back out of I thought the cat was a puddle. I mean, it is technically. If you think about it, it's just a specific kind of puddle. Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro. Is Brasilia good? Is Brasilia cool? I know it's just a capital, but I underestimated Lima. I thought Lima would be boring because it's just a capital, but it wowed me. It meowed me. I'm sorry. Don't go to Rio. Okay. No Rio. That's where the smiling friends went. That's where the smiling friends went. How about Amazonas? Avoid the northeast of Brazil and the states of Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. Oh my goodness. Okay. Everyone is staying. Okay. The consensus is stay away from Rio. But how will I visit the Cristo Redentor? There's nothing really in Brasilia. All right. How about this? I go directly from Sao Paulo to French Guinea. And then I can technically say I was in France on the same trip. And then everyone will be confused until I smart mouth them, until I get all geography nerd on them, until I egghead the ghetto. Sao Paulo is good. All right, I'll note that. That seems the place to be. Everyone is saying avoid Rio. Okay, is it full of those colorful working class neighborhoods where you get guy? That's why I heard Copacabana is a neighborhood there that is rather infamous. I went to a different Copacabana. I went to Copacabana in the town. In Bolivia. It was fine. It was a little confusing. Southern Brazil is the best for tourism in Brazil. Okay. Oh, that'll be easy if I'm starting from Argentina. Maybe I can, yeah, go around the west and come around, loop around south. That's easy enough. Maybe I can go to You Are Gay. There's gotta be a joke in there somehow. Hold on. Oh, and more evidence. I only took one picture, but I was finally compelled to do so because this was like the 80th ramen place I spotted. I didn't get any ramen, sadly. Next time. But I was already full. By the time I saw this ramen place, I'd already gotten din-dins. Rio is so violent, they straight up have a weather report like app for shootouts. Jeepers creepers, man. They the Rio Rojo, man. They gotta chill out. I gotta chill it out. All right, I'll avoid the weather update shootout region. Why Rio specifically? Oh, it's not the capital. I was gonna say, isn't it like the capital? No, Brasilia is. They moved it to Brasilia. Ah. But one thing I learned about Peru on the subject of this ramen is invading now along with Dragon Ball Z, but a big thing here, let's get some kitties on the screen. A big thing was simply the fact that okay, so like the two biggest like immigrant populations were from China and like the Caribbean, right? So that's like kind of the big cultural difference between kind of the North and the South is there's a huge amount of like kind of East Asian, especially Chinese like neighborhoods, and there was a ton. They call them chifas. Chifas are like the hybrid Chinese Peruvian restaurants, and that was actually the first meal I had in Peru because I couldn't find anything else. I walked up and down a street and there were like, seriously, it wasn't even in Chinatown, mind you. It was just like 12 chifas in a row, and I'm like, all right, it feels like a bit of a cop-out to just get Chinese food. But little did I realize I was actually fully immersed in the Peruvian locality culture. Oh my god, I just noticed that it's just a basic box. The box isn't trash. The box is there for the kitty. There's water, there's food, box, and a rock. That cat has everything everything he needs. The Michi is well looked after. This, I'm certain, is John F. Kennedy Park. There's many such critters. Sometimes I was startled sometimes because a kitty would scurry up a tree and I thought it was a big ass squirrel or something. I didn't see any squirrels. Are squirrels specific to North America? Jeez. But it was a very good time. Wait, I can also recommend to visit Pantanal, city of Bonito, and the island of Fernando de Noronha. Hey, oh, ecotourism. Yeah, I'm down for that. That was a big thing in Costa Rica. An island? Yeah, okay. I'm onto that. I'm onto that idea. Bonito is easy to remember. Reminds me of the little fishes they make in Japan. Let's see. I got my one alpaca souvenir. I got it with one of my walking tours that I signed up for. Oh, bro, here. Oh, you can kind of get a better shot of more Dragon Ball. I had to take that same bus multiple times. But yeah, there's the end of the building, and it goes on for like 5,000 miles. It was a big whoop. You have squirrels in the UK. Japan has flying squirrels too. Well, it makes sense that they would have flying squirrels on an island, but let's see. Oh, I don't know if this was part of something, but there was a transformer holding up traffic. I don't like people were honking at him. I don't think he was doing a show or street art or whatever. Maybe he's like a very, very dedicated panhandler, but like, I mean, to be clear, there wasn't like a we just saw the Dragon Ball stuff, but there wasn't like an anime convention or anything going on. This is just a random street corner. And there was just randomly a sort of Transformer Master Chief guy really just kind of walking in and out of traffic, and people were honking at his ass. I don't know what his deal was, but I wish him the best of luck in whatever his future endeavors are, or past endeavors. He might be from the future. What if he was from the future trying to warn us? Oh shit, I didn't think of that till it was too late. They sold oh, okay, it's upside down, which is appropriate. But they sold like these little brownies at the hostel, and they all had facial, they had emojis on them, and I chose this. And I just because it spoke to me. This is my spirit animal. And the lady was like, wait, really? That's the first one you saw? Yeah. It called to me. It spoke to me. Why did they print it if they didn't want me to get it? Oh, look, it's Periwana. Okay, so this was in Cusco. This is a top tier guest house. It's built out of like an old, what do you call it? Like where the nuns live, a nunnery. I got me to a nunnery. The only time I've seen something like this was in Nice, France. I always like that. I like it when they make a guest house out of like a snazzy building and it looks nice. Oh, here's On the Way to Machu. Of course, I had to stop. This wasn't a stray. This is a store cat. We stopped at some rest stop, and they had nanners and whatnot. And the whole time, this little Michi, this little aggressor, was walking around just demanding food from people. And there's like this Russian guy who tried to hand him like a little bit of what it was, what he was eating, and he just instantly grabbed him with both paws, like his whole wrist. It was insane. And when he came up to me, I'm like, I gotta get a picture of that. Cool flowers and un pero dimly viewable in the background. You know, weird plants. Gotta stop for the weird plants. I don't know what the hell these are. They look kind of alien to me if you ask me. They're like caterpillar flowers. They look like giant caterpillars sprouting out of these leaves. And once you get past a certain point towards Machu, everything looks like this. It looks like Rohan. It looks like this. Yeah. Like when you see those ambient music tracks on YouTube, it's always just shots of scenery like this. It's so mountainous. And believe it or not, we're actually way lower altitude by this point than we were back in Cusco. For some reason, it's like a valley, but it's still a mountain, and it's a mountain valley. It's very topographical out there. They look like orchids. Could be wrong though. I was basing it off the fully bloomed flowers. I am not a botanist. I'll take your word for it. That's as good a guess as any. I'll call them orchids. That's a funny name. I would have called them purple fludgebudgers. I would have called them chazwazits. Let's see. Another picture is randomly upside down, or is it correct side up? I don't know why. I don't know why my slideshow has randomly inverted several of my photos. I promise I didn't take it upside down. But if you'll follow the path of this stream, it's very geographic. You can see these tiny roads on the far side of a valley, and there's some kind of a parapet or something keeping us safe from plunging to our imminent dooms. What optical illusion, bro? I mean, maybe when you think about it, like, you know, where the sun is down, if you're going by the local source of gravity, we're all just dangling upside down from the surface of the earth, staring down at the fiery pit at the terminus of our region of space. So, I mean, really, this is a more accurate way to look at the world. You know, The earth is above us, and we're dangling on its underside towards an infinite inferno. That's kind of a fun way to look at it, right? Wow, man. At this point, we're getting to the point where we're just with the clouds. Maybe that's not so remarkable, depending on where you live, but to me, it is quite a novelty. I have never been amidst the clouds myself before. More! Where is this? Were we walking? I think this was the part where the bus let us off and we had to start walking. It stopped. Okay, so like the way to get to Machu Picchu, right? That's the famous ruins. There's like a billion different ways to get there. And I decided I wanted to be Mr. Tough Guy. You can take a train straight up there, but the alternative is a bus takes you to like sort of a national park kind of place, and you get off and you hike, and there's different itineraries. There's a hiking itinerary that's like 4 days if you want. And you like just bivouac overnight and you can hike all the way in there. I think I might do that next time. Cause spoilers, I did not actually successfully get to Machu Picchu on this trip. I got awful close though, because disaster struck. Let's see. More mountain town. Oh yeah. This is like the little national park signposts and stuff. And it looks very scenic. It just looks like this everywhere. And then you get to like okay, so here's Machu Picchu via a little town called Aguas Calientes. Hidroelectrica there's like a little hydroelectric thing that they drop you off at. It's pretty straightforward. There's signs, there's everything telling you where to go. The little train track is for workers. I didn't know if it was still active, but they don't run trains. They don't run trains on it. Instead, they run like little, like they have these, you know, those things in cartoons where they have the two guys pushing the metal thing and it moves. They have that, except they replace the push part with like a dirt bike. It's pretty ingenious. They just have the back half of a dirt bike and it pushes the wheels. The motor pushes the wheels and they scoot along on like a little truck. And I guess all the train is used for is so workers can get in and out, but quick. I guess it makes sense. Hiking would take all day, and it did. Here is more cool plants and more mountains and more clouds. And then you just get an idea of how many little places you walk past, always astride of this railroad. And then we crossed a bridge. Some photo bomb, oh my god. It's like, shit, what the hell was that show? I'm thinking of it. It was on Nickelodeon. Didn't it have hands? Fuck! Stick Stiggly. Okay, but that wasn't a finger. That was a popsicle stick. Never mind. I retract my cultural reference. I apologize. I apologize completely. Okay, so you might notice the river is a little murky. That is actually relevant to the story going forward. What's this? More weird plants. Okay, tell me what you think this is. Tell me what you think this shit is. I ain't seen it's like. I just see, you know me, I have a sort of weakness. I see a weird plant, I photograph it. This looks like this could be a background. You isolate parts of this. You can put this on your phone. Just weird jungle creatures. Now, impressively, there was a tree felled directly across the path, even over the rails, and yet somehow those workers got through effortlessly, as I would find later, because I ended up needing to be rescued by a worker's truck getting back out of here. It took all day to hike this distance. I had to do it twice. Wildcard guessing dragon fruit. Dragon fruit? That's what a dragon fruit looks like? Like the dragon fruit lemonades that they make at Starbucks? That's what it's made out of? That's how it starts? Wow. Looks like dragon fruit loved some wheat. Huh. So we've got 2 evocations of dragon fruit so far. Let's go. Oh. Well, no, 2 people said dragon fruit. 2 people. That once is just talking big. Twice is a coincidence. A third time would be a pattern. Okay, so now you see that same river is now much rougher and more aggressive looking. It doesn't quite capture it. because it's not moving in this picture because it is a still picture. And there's a bunch of people milling around, including people in like highlighty work garb. This was just about a half an hour from the aforementioned Aguas Calientes. You know why it got so fierce so suddenly? Well, there was a flash flood and a landslide somewhere right forward in these woods. There was supposed to be a bridge, the very last, to take us the last stretch of the way to the Aguas Calientes town, and the bridge was completely destroyed like a JRPG, bro. Yet another thing that this place has in common with anime. It's got the scenery. It's got the plot contrivance. It's got the Dragon Ball Z art. Art by Toriyama sensei, right? So in any case, we had to wait around a while to see if the bridge was salvageable, and it wasn't. And so this is roughly what it looked like walking home. We had to hike all the way we hiked out. There was no choice. We had to hike back. And by the end, it was very dark. Fortunately, there was a lot of Instagrammers out there, and they had power bricks to power their cameras and stuff. So they were also able to power flashlights, which is good because I almost brought one. I almost brought a flashlight, but I thought, what am I going to need a flashlight for? Huh? It's going to be electricity. Huh? Thought I learned my lesson. So in any case, I don't have a picture of it, but eventually some of those workers came out on a little truck on the train tracks, and we got to ride the rest of the way back. But we still walked for several hours. And that train track, I'll mind you, actually goes across gaps. There's like these little miniature bridges, and there's just like holes between the wooden parts, right? So like that's what I was worried about, getting back in the dark. We gotta be real careful getting across the little bridge gap things, because there ain't no dedicated walkway. In any case, oh, and there was no signal because we're in the middle of the woods. And when I got back to like a little like convenience store that was on the periphery, I had like 8 messages from my tour guide, because I booked all this through like a little company, right? And I was supposed to meet my my like organizer at a hotel up in Aguas Calientes, and when I didn't show up and it was hours after dark, and probably when rumor of the landslide came through, I had like a lot of messages. Oh shit, where are you? I'm like, hi, I'm back at Ejo Electric, and I'm sure he was relieved. But from that point forward, I was relieved I still had electric charge and some signal, because at that point, tour company took care of me. They called a cab out to fetch me, and I got a hotel room. And appropriately enough, oh, here's the town, Santa Teresa. It was a bit of a hike, but it was the nearest full actual town. And I stayed in a little hotel, and I watched Dragon Ball Z on a Mexican TV station all night. That's almost as good as seeing Machu Picchu. So I waited a while longer, and it actually rained pretty hard all night long. So I'm glad I got into a hotel room instead of having a bivouac in the woods overnight. But yeah, so fate was against me. It was not my time. It was not my. I was for the mountain defeated me. I was not to see the ruins that day. But I mean, you know, it was a memorable little journey. You know. Always amazing me to see mountain village, missed mountain villages. Missed nothing. Them just clouds. Reminds me of Delphi. Yeah, man. It's like, it reminds me of the Green Kingdom in Skies of Arcadia. Remember that, when they go up into the Green Kingdom and it's all misty because they're just up in the clouds and shit. Yeah, it's you know, it's based on real life. Well, anyway, after that little adventure, I took a little time off. At least it was lower altitude, so I wasn't sick for this part. Next stop was La Paz. And the coolest part about La Paz is they have some straight up early 20th century power infrastructure. Look at all the wires, man. That's just electrics and phones and stuff. But you'll be pleased to know they also have internet cafes. Dota 2, League of Legends, Fortnite, and hey, look, Tekken 8 mentioned. Yeah, you know, it's like it's the universal part. They must have pretty solid internet out here. Down this creepy staircase, but I could see people gaming on PCs through the little window. I didn't actually go in because I had my laptop with me, but maybe I should have. Maybe I should have tried. Maybe I should have tried some landlocked gaming. Bro, I mean, I've seen pictures. Even like the US used to have this. This used to be how like telegrams and shit were sent. They just had a shit ton of wires everywhere. So I was amazed. I mean, I didn't. I guess some places still have this. I guess they mostly bury shit nowadays. That's the difference. Is they're able to just keep the high tension wires for electricity and everything else is buried under the ground, and maybe it's too much of a pain in the ass to bury stuff under the ground when you're in the mountains, but I mean, you know, whatever works. Whatever works. Oh, you gotta tilt sideways to see this one. There's some kind of a metro system that I guess is closed down, and I just had appreciation for how deeply creepy this staircase looked. This is some Silent Hill shit. The straight up barbed wire, the dark plunge into tenebrous depths. This is exactly where you would have to solve a puzzle to get in here in a horror game. You'd find yourself some wire clippers and bust down the barrier, and you'd have to find some kind of a weird like lion sigil key to open up the gate, and then down there'd be a bunch of puzzles, you know, and some ammo boxes. And probably a sub boss, you know, you just know it would be. Okay, so this one's a bit of a mystery to me. Is this from Star Wars? Is this a fake? Is this truck real? I just saw this whole ass truck is, I mean, it looks like a real SWAT team truck or something, but is it like, it looks like something they would have at E3. It looks like some kind of a fiction thing. It was just parked on a street. Still down Bolivia. I don't know why it was there. Yeah. It's the symbol for like the Mandalorian or something. I don't know what UTOP is. Maybe it's a real police car and they just have some nerds on their payroll. Or maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe Star Wars is based on this. I don't know. In any case, I'm glad I didn't get Star Wars. I had some really good. Oh, okay. So another sideways tilt is. This is every this is every sidewalk in La Paz. They're all really it's just constant ascent and descent. At a certain point, this doesn't really convey the full just like daunting nature of like seeing several of these streets in a row, but everywhere I went and I was already, it was like adding insult to injury because I was already dizzy and altitude sick, and every time I had to go up one of these things I'm like, oh my god, it's like hurting myself. And they had really good, I'll say they had really good Chinese restaurants here too. Kind of it was like different though. And one of the weird things, oh yeah, another perspective shift. Yeah, I was walking on the side of the building. I was walking along the side of the skyscraper, grazing my head against some of these cars and thereby cleaning them a bit. I don't know why. I put them all into the slideshow and they were oriented correctly when I had them. I don't know why it has done this to me. I'm boomering the technology. Hey, speaking of which, this next picture also upside down, but you can hardly tell, right? Same color scheme either way. This is Lake Titicaca, the hilariously named. So it's actually pretty terrifying with the sky below. It just looks, and you can, you can kind of see the sky is like dark a little. I mean, I guess it always is, but up here, it just seems like it's more noticeable. You can kind of see space. You can start to see freaking outer space a little bit. Normally, I only notice that in airplanes and stuff. But you know, there's like a gradient. It's super hazy and bright, and then just it gets thin fast. These little things aren't ducks. They're like palette swaps. They're like palette swapped ducks. They're different critters. Oh yeah, this is how you get around. I thought it was wild. The buses just get loaded on these rickety ass wooden ferries. They're straight up ferries, like an actual ferry, like an actual Oregon Trail ass wooden ferry, and they work. They got everything across. They made us get off and get on a separate boat, probably because, like, you know, I bet these things don't capsize that often, but I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure there's at least one tour bus adorning the bed of Lake Titicaca at this point. So they're like, all right, everyone get off in this little dinghy and we'll get you across and the bus will meet you there. And that was also the place where we crossed the border, which was a very straightforward process. In fact, my only minor annoyance is there was like a rest stop day. They dropped us at a hotel and just told us, okay, meet us at the docks. They're over here. And they gave us like these little simplified tour maps. And it wasn't as straightforward as it looked. It looked like it was just a straight shot, but every street looked like this, and they all winded and wound, and there was like twists and turns and stuff. Like I was worried about being late. I was barely on time, but I was like, if I miss this boat because I can't find the way to the fucking port, I'm gonna be highly annoyed. And also, I guess I just live in Bolivia now. But this also looks kind of like background art. This is very scenic. Yeah. I was annoyed though because I didn't have time to get lunch. Looks lovely upside down. Yeah, the hexagon paving is like, yeah, it's like Civ 5. I do like, you know, there were some surprisingly scenic, just kind of urban beauty here. You know, it's like kind of a medium small town. I think this is Copacabana, the aforementioned. Bro, everyone sold freaking SIM cards, and I still don't know how to install one. I believe this is from Isla del Sol. By this point, my friends, I was throbbing pretty good. My head hurt. I was dizzy. Every march was a labor, and we had to go up a lot of stairs and slopes. But god damn it, I took a picture. I think we've all seen this picture by now. Met a cool dude. Cozy Chew. Accidental face reveal. Sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, I should have gotten permission first. I should have gotten permission before I put this picture. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to dox anyone. But yeah, I was all serious. I'm a floofy boy. It did not. I believe this is alpaca. It was pretty big. It was the bigger of the two critters. There were llamas and alpacas both. I think this is alpaca because it has the fluffy mask face and it was kind of pony sized. Kind of hard to tell from the picture. Also, it's sitting down at this point. There was a bit of a queue. Everyone wanted a picture of the critter, but I got an up close picture of it. After it said, all right, I'm taking a chill pill. There was a few. They were very well polite. They weren't like camels. They were not like their camel brethren. Actually, I think they're more closely related to giraffes. I think we learned that, especially after Cozy had her neck extension done. The naturally occurring neck extension. Ooh, there were lots of shops on the Isla del Sol, and of course, no few of them had a shop cat. I think we need more shop cats here in North America. Even chains like Starbucks and stuff. They gotta have a shop cat. That would be very good for morale. And you could adopt them out and stuff. Yeah, ain't no one stealing one of these hats. I didn't get a hat, but I did get gloves. I ended up getting some alpaca wool gloves at one of these places. The cat is a very good marketer and security officer, kind of a visual deterrent, and also a visual incentive for different things. So then let's see. Okay, this is kind of a two-part photograph. All right, so this is just, you know, fitting with the music. It's a very beautiful, very scenic, you know, little patch of sunflowers. Or daisies, whatever they are. You're growing in a sylvan glen, a little, you know, sun-dappled patch of earth upon the island of the sun. And then just a little bit further down the road, oh, you're just like me, for real. This was pretty much how I felt by this point. as beautiful as it is, it's hard to describe how dry it was. Like, my lips got straight up. I had some dry ass lips. I wasn't kissing no one. I ain't kissing no one no time soon. I got them dry ass lips, and it wasn't like hot, right? It was perfect. It was almost perfectly room temperature everywhere I went. The climate was fine, but the sun was very bright. I was like SPFing all the hell and back. The atmosphere's thinner. It makes sense. It was weird. I've never been in a place like this before. It was just a very different kind of environment. Here's something a bit more optimistic. look, there's even a sunbeam. There's like a beam of holy light meeting this weird ass plant. Now I definitely, if you can tell me what kind of plant this is, I'll be all the more impressed. This shit looks cool. This could be like a desktop on an old computer. This right here, this could be like this could be on like a Windows 2000 type machine. J.J. Abrams directed this picture. Bro, it's the island of the sun. It stands to reason there'd be a messenger of that very entity here. We're getting towards the end. We're getting towards the end of my trip. I saved all the food pictures separately. I'm gonna try to get a time for me and Tori Tiger to discuss them. I like it. It has dignity. In stark contrast to this poor feller. You just like me? You're nothing like me. We are not the same. We are not the same. Speaking of weird plants, I also saw this. There's like a bush of these ghostly flowers growing. I was reminded of the Morgul Vale where the Witch King did reside. Reportedly, the rumor is that these flowers, if you sniff them, they'll make you sleepy. Is that a poppy? Is that what poppies are? Is that why they were? I don't know. I don't know what a poppy looks like. Again, not a botanist. I don't know shit. I don't know shit about plants, but I just appreciated how ghostly and weird these plants look. Ah, yes. Puno. It was a nice city, and they went to the nines decorating their Plaza Mayor, and there was music and fun. And I was originally booked to spend the night here, but this town, the very highest altitude of all the places that we'd been, and I was physically dying by this point. So this is where I went and got my dinner, which was only tomato soup, which also defeated me. And at this point, I simply requested, you know what, I think I'll just get back on the bus and go straight to Cusco, please. And it was not a problem. And I did feel much better by the time I got back. Like, Cusco was harsh at first, but by this point, Cusco was easy pickings. When I got back there, one night of rest, and I was back on my feet, and I was able to go and tour corn. There was a lot of shops, and what I learned is that there's, much to my surprise, there's like 8,000 different kinds of corn, and they got them all, baby. They also have like 9 million types of potato. I did not know there was more than like 3 or 4 types of potato, but apparently potatoes and corn and tomatoes all come from South America. So all that we know elsewhere we're just getting like the handful of breeds that can handle being transplanted. We're getting like the weirdo periphery. This is the real deal. This is the realm of corn. I want to see what this like demon corn is all about. Dude, we need to send Fubuki to South America to learn about all the cones. So like the big corns, some of these corns, they're like the size of your molars, man. They're giant, and that's what they use to make their ceviche. A maze of maize. Well, it's amazing. The ceviche was made of something they call tiger milk. I don't believe it was actually the milk of a tiger. Sadly, I don't think it was, but it had fish and it had corn, 2 kinds, and I was dizzied by the variety. Sometimes I popped it like popcorn. Everywhere they sold these bags of dried corn husk, and it'll keep you alive. That's what I can say for it. It will keep you alive in dire straits. What's this now? Oh, I think I just tried to catch a cool sunbeam, but I don't think it quite comes through. This is Cusco. Cusco's, you can tell like what era of a building is from based on what kind of fucking like balconies it has. There's like there's like the Spanish medieval ones, and then it has like kind of these modern gross efficient ones, and then it has like the super old stone ones. That place was cool. Once I was capable of walking around and not immediately getting dizzy, I had a lot of fun just walking around, finding the coffee shops, seeing the walls with animals in them. Oh, bro. And I bought a postcard. I bought a postcard for a friend, right? And I want to mail it. and I had a hard time locating the mailbox. Turns out I walked past it several times because this is what the fuck it looks like. It looks like the things from Labyrinth Zone, Cusco, Peru. They go to Nines decorating. They decorate. I don't know why this one's sideways too. I apologize sincerely. But you have to feed your mail to a monster. I have Rob. Man, we got to take some of these cues back with us. Other countries got to design hideous golem faces for our daily tasks, you know? Like getting your groceries and it comes vomiting out of a monster mouth, that kind of thing. They should do that with like Uber Eats. They should design it to be stored in a monster mouth. Yes. And one last surprise selfie. Here's me at the end of the trip. Hey, that's me. That's exactly how I was feeling. It was relatable, hard relatable. He just like me for real. But it was rejuvenating. How many fingers were in there? We got just like 2 or 3. It's hard to tell. They're kind of swollen. I could fucking feel my pulse, bro. I can't even explain to you the sensation. It was like I could straight up, like, it died down, but there were spells of it where I just like my entire head would throb and then my wrists too, and it was just like getting a blood pressure test. Everything was probably engorged, and not in a good way, not in a sexy way. But here from death comes new life. I felt renewed. I felt as though I got what I needed out of this fell journey, because you know, it's sort of one of those times where it's like, oh, you know, I don't know what I'm doing with myself. I gotta get out of here. I gotta touch some goddamn grass. I gotta see a different perspective on things. I gotta just change my cycles, my habits. And it did. It reset my sleep schedule, screwed with all my hormones, depressurized my blood vessels, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Would recommend. Hold on, let me switch back to Zatsu music. Yay! Now that we've bid adieu to our precious skull-based friends. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Wait, where is it? Yeah, it's out of the way. Yay! Well, that's it. That's the main journey. That is what I've done for the past fortnight. I was a straight up salty Fortnite gamer. Not so much because I didn't get into the ocean, so I wasn't literally. But you know, it was fun. Characterized often by intense physical suffering, but I met people from around the world. I practiced my Espanol. I caught some of the Space Goes to 30th anniversary live stream when I could. Bro, why do they always just play the same random 8 episodes over and over? When they do those marathons from Adult Swim, they never just play through them all. On YouTube, at least, they just take like a random dozen or so episodes and loop them. I've seen the fucking Banjo episode 3 times. Anyway, well, whatever. It's free entertainment. And it was like bringing the old with the new. And it's astonishing, the contrast, though. Yeah, the suffering was worth it. The suffering was a feature, not a bug. It was a good trip. It was a good, especially considering how little planning was involved, considering how impromptu it all was. You know, it was worth it. It was challenges. It helped me kind of, you know, freshen up my perspective a bit, touching that grass, as they say. It is like, you know, being back, I can already see how quickly it is that you can end up back in the pit, you know, the pit and the pendulum, when your only contact with the outside world is that dastardly social media and all the Twitter dramas and so forth. Yeah, man, that can make you a little loopy. It can give you some altitude sickness of a different kind. So basically, now that the world is a little more undiseased from what it was, would recommend taking an impromptu journey abroad, like freaking Bilbo Baggins. You know, it's just it's harder to be bothered after all. Oh, and the other thing too, like Bolivia, all the water's presumed contaminated, and the cities just by germs, and outside of the cities it's like there's a lot of runoff from mines and stuff. A lot of heavy metal action, not the music. So just being back where I can freely sup of the water at any time I want is like a breath of fresh air. Yeah. It's not worth it. Don't get on there unless you have something to promote. That's my advice. Yeah, but just in general too, not just dastardly Twitter, but just like, you know, feels like there's been a lot of upsets lately in our little universe. That's what that video was about. That video about the it was fun while it lasted, you know. I'm glad I got that out before my trip. That was my last big rush to finish editing before the trip. And then I experienced the Bioshock. And it's a good reset. I'm back at it again at Krispy Kreme. I wouldn't say I'm back stronger than ever. I'm actually weakened significantly. I have to regain my strength. But yeah, it's, you know, it doesn't always have to be fun. I hopscotching between places where I can buy bottled water to safely consume. The downside too in La Paz was there was so much good-looking street food, but I dasn't eat it because I was already sick, and I was in multiple ways by that point. It wasn't just the altitude sickness. As vigilant as I was about getting infected, I got infected. Let's just say. I wasn't just vomit at one point. The Bioshock important OkAs lore. Yeah, it was like character development, major transforming. It contributed. It contributed to me. Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, so it is a separate. There is a separate chat window. I can't see. Hello, Morgan, Marlon, Alistair, Mode Broker, Kintle Pop, cool dude. If I eat it spray painted, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I'm still learning. Oh, I'm still learning how to multi-stream. It's a little complicated. I can sympathize. I was violently ill 2 out of 3 times I went to America. Yeah, you're bound to get sick if you travel around. You're bound to, you know, you're treating your immunity to stuff that it's never encountered before. So it's, you know, it's bound to happen sooner or later. I think usually I'm lucky enough to only get sick after I'm back from a trip. I got sick once in Europe, and I got sick coming back from Morocco once. But coming back. And that was during Ebola. So it wasn't Ebola. Yay. Well, let me double check. Let me double check something. I know it'd be that dangerous bacteria. Yeah, it might just, it's everything's changing. Your body's getting used to all kinds of weird stuff. It could just be eating unusual food, tasty though it is. It might just be your body's adjusting to so many things, and you know, you fall apart a little bit. So let's see, tomorrow 10 p.m. usual time, but over on Twitch, mind, we'll be playing an important video game. We're very important. Un saludo desde República Dominica. Young Filippo, I have not been to the Dominican Republic as yet, but I've been nearby. I met lots of Dominicans when I went to Puerto Rico. I should stop. Maybe I'll stop there someday. Maybe if there's an airplane change, if it's on the way to someplace. Salud. Bienvenidos. Hola y buenos tardes. ¿Por qué está ahora? Hora 4:30. Haha. That was the other thing too. South America, you don't really, like, if you're geographically challenged as I was, you don't realize how much the whole continent slants. So all the way down Peru, I was only 1 hour back. It's the only time I've flown so far and had the time zone change so little. And then Bolivia is actually on the Eastern time zone. Most of the here's a perspective for you, lads. Most of the big cities in South America are east of New York. How you like that? That's right. Atlantic time zone. It's not just for that weird little part of Canada. It's for all kinds of guys. So, well, that brings us up to speed. At least until we get the tiger lady to talk exotic foods. Oh, you just arrived, Alexandra Gomez da Silva. I went to Peru and Bolivia. That is the trip we were discussing. Yeah, it was fine. I'm glad I more or less hit the ground. I figured out how to stream again. I haven't done it in so long, and now I'm trying to do a complicated version of it. Let's see if I can end it gracefully. I'll try to end both streams without breaking anything. So I'll wrap it up here, and I'll see you cats in barely 26 hours tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna be over on the dang twitch.tv/OkAs_VT, and we're gonna pick up with maybe the most important video game ever created. Everyone is talking about this. It's the biggest hit sensation. We're gonna blast through it. We actually started on it a while ago, but we didn't finish it. I'm gonna see how far we can get. Too bad I didn't see Butch Cassidy down there. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. I ruined my gag. Sorry, I'm not used to it. I was gonna speedline me and be like, what do you mean by that? Oh, microbes and hygiene and stuff. How appropriate. Because that was my finals this week. I got a crash course and all that. I got a big crash course in hygiene. Appreciate the first world, my friend. Appreciate that fucking limestone. It does a lot of filtering on our water. Just do me a favor. Go get some tap water, drink it, and say, yummy. Okay, everybody. Matane, matayate kitera. Makoto ni arigato gozaimasu. Muchas gracias. Y hasta la próxima.